It's April 25th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, a shark revealing a hidden crime, a lie that deceived the world, and a name that changed history forever. Let's begin. On April 25th, 1935, something impossible happened in a quiet aquarium in Sydney. A tiger shark, recently captured off the Coogee Beach, began thrashing violently in its tank. Visitors watched, confused and then horrified, as the animal suddenly vomited. Floating to the surface was a human arm. It drifted silently in the water, pale and intact, with a distinct tattoo of two boxers. At first, authorities suspected a shark attack, but then when the arm was examined, the truth became far darker. The limb had not been torn off, it had been cleanly severed with a knife. Fingerprint analysis soon identified the victim as James Jimmy Smith, a former boxer turned small-time criminal who had vanished weeks earlier after telling his wife he'd gone fishing. He was last seen alive with Patrick Brady, drinking and playing cards. Then, the story twists again. Another man, businessman and smuggler, Reginald Holmes, became entangled in the case. When police closed in, Holmes attempted to shoot himself, but survived when the bullet flattened against his skull. Dazed and bleeding, he fled in a speedboat leading through a 4-hour chase across the Sydney harbor. He would later agree to testify, but before he could, he was found shot dead in his car. With no body, no witnesses, and key suspects silenced, the case unraveled. In court, a lawyer even argued that an arm was not proof of death, and somehow, it worked. No one was ever convicted, and the rest of Jimmy Smith's body was never found. To this day, this case is one of Australia's most strange unsolved mysteries. On April 25, 1983, the German magazine Stern announced it had obtained the lost personal diaries of Adolf Hitler, over 60 handwritten volumes hidden for decades after the collapse of Nazi Germany. The discovery came through reporter Gerd Heimann, who claimed the diaries had survived in a secret plane crash in East Germany. Historians were called in, pages were examined. Shockingly, some declared them authentic. Inside the diaries painted a strange picture, Hitler as distant, distracted, and even unaware of the Holocaust. They were mundane entries about health, his daily routine, and even complaints that felt almost human. It was unsettling, but also too convenient. Within weeks, cracks began to form. Forensic investigators tested the ink, the paper, and the bindings, and what they found changed everything. Materials used in the diaries did not exist until after 1945. The truth quickly surfaced: the entire collection had been forged by Konrad Kuya, a dealer obsessed with Nazi artifacts, who had carefully aged the pages using tea and invented history line by line. Even the signature was wrong. What the world thought was a window into the past was nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. The magazine Stern was forced into public humiliation. Millions were lost and careers collapsed. And in 1985, both Kuya and Hyman were sent to prison. Even just for a moment, the world didn't read fake history. It trusted it. On April 25, 1507, a map was created that quietly rewrote the world. In a small workshop in Saint-Dié, France, a German calligrapher named Martin Botzé-Mulier printed a massive wall map unlike anything seen before. At first glance, it looked like any other map of the known world, but there was something new. A landmass stretching across the western edge of the Atlantic, separate from Asia and unfamiliar and unnamed until now. For the first time in history, it bore a name: America. He had chosen that name to honor Amerigo Vespucci, believing he had discovered an entire continent. And with that single decision, printed in ink, the identity of an entire hemisphere was sealed. Over 1,000 copies of the map were printed, and today only one is known to survive. All the others lost to time. The surviving map now sits in the Library of Congress and is often called America's birth certificate. And yet, even later in life, he began to doubt his own work. In maps, he quietly removed the name America as if he was trying to undo what was already done. But it was too late, because the name had already spread, copied, and repeated. It's strange to think that the identity of millions of people began with a single decision on a piece of paper. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next Eerie dose is just a day away.